yet. And we are live. And here we are on the Deep Dive Saturday. And my dearie bestie Monica, she and I are having coffee together. And so we invite you to come in, have your coffee, and join us for a little conversation, wise conversation. So before we got started, Monica and I were just kind of sharing, how did the week go? What was going on? And if you listen to any of my short little joyful wisdom pauses, you'll know that there was a day where I got caught up out there in the distraction. And my husband, it's the morning coffee. He and I were sharing our morning coffee, and he was reading something that says, "Oh my goodness, let me read you this." I'm not even going to say what it is because it doesn't matter. But I was like, oh my gosh. And I watched, you guys. It's so insidious, and it can happen in an instant if you're not really grounded. I had not really grounded myself in my I am at that moment. I heard this and I was right about to allow all that emotionality, the catastrophizing, the you can't be serious, this is real. And I realized, boom, in that moment, it captured me. And I had to whoop. I left the room. Wait a second, sweetie, I'll be back in a minute. You finish your thing. I went in and I had to do my breath, my 3 deep breaths, and sink my focus back into that beautiful I am space. And then I was back again. And it really, once again, that mirror shows me, wow, like it is so easy. You have to be vigilant. RJ uses that word, discipline. And I have to tell you, my Renee character does not love the word discipline. Most of us don't, do we? We think of it as pain and sacrifice and awful. I can't have what I want, like a little child, right? But that's not what we're talking about. Right there, Mon. Do you have something?
Right. Yeah, no, I love when he refers to it, I believe in one of the books, not sure, is gentle tenacity. And I love gentle tenacity because, we are extracting ourselves from conditioned programming. We're like computers. There's nothing outside of us that isn't a reflection of something that's within us. We are, we have computers because that's pretty much a reflection of how things work within us as well, within the, the physiology. So we have been given some really unbalanced programming that has led us into a state of just normalizing insanity. We have normalized insanity because we have agreed to and accepted societal programming that is absolutely contradictory to the truth of the I am. You will, everything that you hear will let you believe that you are a victim of something and that there's something wrong with you, that you're not good enough, and it just goes on. It is insidious. And when you begin to deconstruct that with these teachings, and you begin to wake up to the truth that, oh, wait a minute, I am an immortal, unlimited creator being, and I've been given a body as a vehicle with which to discover and explore and know more about myself. Yes. That's what we're here for. That's we've been given all kinds of explanations of what we're doing here. This is the highest truth, in my opinion, that to know thyself in all thy infinite potential. And everything that's happening here is happening for us, each one individually, to have a greater wisdom, knowing, and understanding of who and what we really are. Yeah. And everything, everything's a mirror. If you're seeing it outside, It's inside. And I love that you were just like, wait a minute, this sounds like crazy. It sounds like conflict. It's taking my vibration down. It's lowering my frequency. Pause, remove yourself and get centered back in. And that's beautiful. And that's why I love these teachings, because these are instantaneous. He calls them magic tricks. I love that you, in one of the ones you did this week, you talked about the emptying the bathtub. Yes,
Yes.
this is one of the magic tricks. We've all seen a bathtub drain or a sink drain, and I love how RJ says start in the upper astral body and just see that, like you're draining all of the energy out of the mental body, out of the, go past your heart, out of the emotional body, and then park that life force energy back into the dantian point, which is a couple inches below, like 2 fingers, I say, below your navel. That's the gas tank for this vehicle that we get to drive through this reality. So, when you're on empty, if you've given all of your life force energy to we call it awfulizing, catastrophic thinking,
Right.
awfulizing. Let me find out what's going on in the news, and that way, and you're giving it all away.
Right.
What power do you have left to create the life that you desire to be the awareness of? I love
There
when
you
RJ
go.
says that. Create the life you want to be the awareness of, because that's really all we are. Awareness. We are awareness. We're aware of what's happening, but that's not who we are.
Absolutely. So beautiful. And so, it's really easy to be, I love this saying, and I'm paraphrasing, this is my version of it. It's really easy to be a monk when you live in a cave. And I say this because probably most of you who are actually watching this live or recorded um, understand meditation. Oh, we need to meditate. We need to take time out of our day to sit in a chair in whatever way and meditate. And yes, there's incredible benefit to that. And I do that all the time. I know Monica does. Absolutely. But here's where the rubber really meets the road. What happens when you get off that meditation cushion, as we'd say, right? What happens when the monk goes out of the cave down into the valley and needs to have a family and make bread and do life? Well, all of a sudden, all the triggers show up. And that's when we need to know, how do we handle life? How do we handle the distractions out here? And it's so much about staying in here and being aware from in here of what's going on and how to navigate, obviously, but from this other place, and allow yourself to move from here. No, I always do this for the I am, but we can also call it, it's been called in other things, if this resonates with you more, being present, being here now. And so again, the RJ teachings are here right now to give us these instantaneous things that work, so that it's not just being a monk on a cushion, it's being a monk in your life.
Right.
How to navigate through everything that's happening from that same presence space. And that's where the magic tricks come in. And there are so many of them. And each of us will find the ones that work for us in the times where we're at. So it's so good to have numerous ones to think in this moment, which one do I just automatically now go to? One of the ones, Monica, that of course I just love is, okay, you just landed here, no past, no future. And so if you're listening to this, just do it right now. No past, no future. Just landed here. You just landed
arrived
on this
here.
earth right in this moment. No past, no future. And you'll notice.
Yeah, the key to that is that the I am presence only exists in the present now moment. And the ego mind identity, which is the programs. Those are all the programs, the subconscious programs. All the crazy programming exists in the past and the future. So when you're thinking about the past or taking the past and throwing it out into the future, basically making your future your past, okay, all you're in that, you're running the programs.
Right.
When you still the mind and you are not in that constant thought loop nonsense, and you're grounded in the I am presence, which is, you talk about meditating. I love that RJ teaches us that the I am presence, you are what we really are. And what we really are is meditation. It's also abundance. It's also health. It's also happiness. It's all joy, that's what we really are. And we have lost our connection to that because we're hanging out in the program. We're in the past or in the future. And when you do the magic tricks, and I know, this is a really tough one, that pretend you just arrived here, no past, no future. When you really go deep with that and you realize all of the stories about, and this is a lot of our suffering comes from our identification with our stories, with the character and the things the character has done, the people the character has interacted with. They're all just stories. They're all just like, you know, they're just adventures. Everything's just an adventure. And when something leaves your life, you grieve as long as you need to and then move on. And I tell you, I have lost some friends since I've started doing these, working with these teachings. And the level, I want to say the length of time of grieving has gone down so dramatically because I can see it from a higher perspective. They're what the true essence of these beings that didn't go anywhere, it's still there. It existed before their body and it exists after their body. And they, they just exited the game. They're on to another game because it's a never ending, it's a, life and the cosmos. It's just a never ending one adventure after another of evolving and expanding the consciousness.
Right.
And as we do that, our higher selves learn about themselves, and even God learns about itself. Awareness itself is just becoming aware, and beginning to, which is why we're going through the stuff we're going through. Which
Right.
is, there's a whole big leveling up happening now. The energies are intense. The voices, the distractions they're like megaphones on each, from every side. So when you do these magic tricks, pretend you just arrived here, no past, no future, empty the bathtub, just take all that energy that's in the astral, the mental, the emotions, and just dump it so that you have something to create with. You don't want to go on a trip with no gas tank in your car, right? So let's put our energy back, stop with the distractions, and then you'll notice you'll stop with the exhaustion. Don't be exhausted all the time because you'll actually have your own life force energy.
Absolutely. That is so beautiful. And it's so much about being in the body, in the body. So you go in, it's literal. You're going in and not thinking that all of life is out here and looking for all these things out here so that you can feel better. Right. This is such an old parable, but I'm just going to paraphrase real quickly. Right. Young boy comes by and sees a man outside looking on the sidewalk. Right. And he says, "Sir, what are you looking for? Can I help you?" And he says, "I'm looking for my keys." And the young boy said, "Well, okay, where did you lose them?" And he said, "In the house." And he said, "Well, sir, why are you looking out here?" He said, "Because this is where the light is. This is where it is out here."
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So you're looking for what you think you want to feel better and to, all the stuff. And so we're looking out here, and yet all the answers, everything Everything you are seeking is in here. And very, very fascinating. I just had another one, just an interesting little thing that happened to me this morning. I was out on this porch in this beautiful little bit of sun and some wind, and doing my little 15-minute, I call it my breath meditation. And most of you, if you know me at all, know I'm a somatic educator, meaning, going in and feeling in the soma is in the body, how to experience it, how to process through. And I started to just be like, just feel, what am I feeling right now in my body? And so I would go down in my feet, and I felt some cool air on my feet and my legs. And I won't go all the way up, but you guys get the picture what I was feeling. And then I realized it said, Renee, can you just be with the feeling, but without giving it labels? This is an interesting one, you guys. Just try it. It's really fascinating. So, like, my label was, oh, my feet and my lower legs are cold. That's a judgment, isn't it? Cold. Or just feel. We're so used to narrating every goddamn thing in our life. And that's the idea of just being here, no past, no future. Past, past. Oh, I know that feeling I would call cold in my feet. That's right there. I'm just judging it.
Mhm.
I'm not just being right there, being in the awareness without the narration and all the flipping labels. Now,
Yeah.
this is deep, you guys. I realize that, but just to start to play with that a little bit, because I know I'm going to continue with that. And just as another small side, and we'll move from this, the whole idea of being in physical pain, right? We categorize it, like we judge that, we resist around it because obviously we don't want to feel physical pain, but we contract around it, we resist it, we call it a name, horrible pain, whatever it is, right? And then we go outside to find a drug to take so that we can feel better. And just explore with that a little bit. What happens
Mhm.
if you don't resist, you breathe, you get present with it, you ask it about itself, what does it need? You go inside a little bit. Now, listen, please understand, if you're in horrible pain, I'm not suggesting not to take something, but just another different way to explore the healing around that. And
Right.
how
Well, yeah, how RJ has explained it in his Supercharged Self-Healing book about his own journey through what, I mean, his spine was destroyed, and he had like 5 different, incurable illnesses,
right,
all of which he cured within 100 days
right.
by using his technique, which is, oh, that's right, completely given in the book. Um, and it's also, you can listen to it on YouTube. But, he says, so the key is be at peace now. He says, I felt the pain, but I never suffered it. I didn't suffer it because I didn't identify with it. And the magic trick for not identifying with pain is to say, it's just a physical sensation. It's not me.
It's not me.
It's not me.
Monica, what's really fascinating is my teacher, who was a realized being, he's no longer in the body, and he was in a lot of physical pain a lot of the time. And I would go in and we would sit with him, and I would just say, oh, I won't use his name. Not that it matters. Nobody knew him. He's not known. His name was Chris. Anyway, and say, oh, Chris. And he'd say, stop it, Renee. It's like, yes, I'm in pain. And he would always have this hot pad and he'd flip it from side to side. He would do what he could. But he said, you know, I'm not, yes, there is pain, but I don't identify with it. The pain, this is what he would say, the pain is not mine. It's mother's. The absolute. This was the vernacular he would use. It's not my pain. There's nothing for me. It's just interesting, isn't it?
Right. It's just, I am the awareness. I am having an
Mm.
awareness of what what, of the pain,
Right.
having an awareness of it. But it's not me. It doesn't define me, right?
It's the definition. It doesn't define me. It's the pain is not who I am.
Yeah, and at peace now. Just I am at peace now in this very moment. Period. End of story. And do
Right.
that in every single now moment.
Right. And you too could become a realized being.
Hey, you know what? It's that simple. I've heard RJ say enlightenment is actually really simple.
Right.
We just complicate the heck out of everything because that's what we've been programmed to do. We're running
I know.
programs constantly of, oh, it has to be hard. And how many times,
Right.
listen to yourself, right? As I was talking to somebody this morning about, and she's like, oh, and it's so hard. And I'm like, okay, stop, time out right there. Start telling yourself a different story.
Right.
Oh, it's not hard. It's fun.
Yes.
It's fun.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
you start relanguaging and giving, because when we speak, we're giving command to our physicality, which responds to what we're saying and thinking. So stop
Yes.
awfulizing, stop catastrophizing, stop giving your power away to every distraction, pull it back in, and focus on choosing to create the life that you desire to be the awareness of. Simple.
Ta-da. There it is.
Not easy. Simple.
Simple. Not easy, simple, but
Right.
very simple. And as soon as it gets simple, we humans, I love us humans. We want it simple,
Mm-hmm.
we get it simple, and then we want more complication. And that is how we are. And so that's right. So
We're
beautiful.
habituated to it by programming. And that's what I'm saying. It's time to just end it. Stop it. We need a whole new operating system. Whatever, Windows 10, you're getting rid of it. Now we're going to Windows 11. Okay. Isn't that interesting? Again, I'm saying everything outside of us is a reflection of what's happening on the inside. So it's time for a new operating system. And these books will get you there. Change your mind, the super consciousness, and supercharged self healing. I'm telling you, these are the instructions for the new operating system for this new age that we've entered. It's an age of experience, and you can't know anything anymore through belief.
Right.
You believe whatever you want. Do you believe in Santa Claus still? I mean, come on. RJ says it all the time. So we've entered an age of experiential knowing, and that's why every single one of these books, every teaching this man gives is prescriptive. He tells you, he gives you the information, and then he says, don't believe me, try it. And when you have an experience of it, then you will know. And that, you just can't get a better teacher than that, right?
No,
That's
there it is.
everything. All I've been seeking the last few years is what is going to empower me. And these are the supreme teachings for that. As and I've gone through so many teachers that I can't even remember them all. Can't even remember, and that's okay. They were all steps. You don't. They're all steps along the way.
Right.
So what?
Beautiful.
You learn something from every situation if you're paying attention.
Absolutely. Monica, this was awesome. One more time on a beautiful Saturday. And I hope you guys found some wisdom here, maybe some things that you can play with through the week, maybe even share them with us again next week. So, and maybe Monica will talk about the power of the words that we're using. I know that's a biggie on you and me
It's a
too.
biggie
So
for me, yeah.
love
All right.
it.
Thanks so much, Renee. I really
Have a beautiful
appreciate
week.
you. Bye, everybody.
Much love. Much love.